Hey guys, welcome to session 3, my personal favourite. I cannot wait for today. I'm about to go and do my session, and today it's flying 400s. So I'm about to go out and do my session. I'm just going to explain to you what's already in the document, but it's sometimes a good idea to have it explained to you. So last week you went out and did your fast mile. Well done on that. I realised it was quite challenging, but hopefully now it's going to fall into place why you actually did that. So I want you to take your fast mile time. I want you to divide it by 4, and you're going to end up with something in minutes and seconds. So if you did an 8-minute mile, it's going to be a straightforward 2 minutes. If you did a 9-minute mile, well, I've got to work it out now, it's 2 minutes 15 seconds and so on. So 10-minute mile, 2 minutes 30. Try and get a very accurate minutes and seconds. Okay, then I want you to add approximately 2 to 3 seconds on either side of that number. So we'll go back to the 8-minute mile. If it was an 8-minute mile, it's 2 minutes. So you're going to be around about 1:58 to 2:03. You're going to give yourself a rough 5-second range. Don't be too generous. 5 seconds is already quite generous, okay? So you're going to use that as your target. This is the pace you need to be running these 400s at. Now 400 is 400 meters, it's approximately a quarter of a mile. What you're going to do, you're going to go out and warm up, and then you're going to go and find, you could possibly find this on your warm up, a quarter of a mile stretch as flat as possible. Bryson is 400 meters. You can go to Chargrove Lane and map out for 400 meters or a quarter of a mile there, and you can just keep doing the same stretch backwards, forwards, or anywhere you like. Actually, from the Blue Gate out of the back of Bryson onto Sherdington Road to the very beginning of Chargrove Lane, that's also a quarter of a mile. Perfect. So what you're going to do, you're going to go out and run that at your fastest mile pace, okay? And then when you've run that and you press stop on your watch, you're going to find, hopefully, that you've done that target time. So 2 minutes. If you did an 8-minute mile, that's where you're going to be. Okay, if it was a 10-minute mile, it's going to be 2.5 minutes. Then you're going to stop and you're going to rest for 2 to 2.5 minutes. Then you're going to repeat it. And depending on the ability level that you would have got from your 5 or 10k time, so whether you're beginner, improver, intermediate, advanced, you're going to choose how many repetitions that you're going to do. Now, on some of them you can see, like improver, you've got a range between 6 and 8. You can choose. Now, you would choose the lower end if you've never done a session like this before, if you're not used to doing speed work. You're going to choose the upper end if you're used to doing speed work, and assuming that the session's gone well. If you've gone out too fast on some of these repetitions, which might happen because you're just not used to doing this kind of session, if you've gone out too quick, then you might be feeling tired, and really it's not good to push through those last ones, okay? But it is good to go out with an idea in your mind how many of these you're going to do. So I know that today I'm going to go out and do 10. I've programmed it into my watch, although I've never used the watch before, so I'm interested to see how that's going to go. But that's in my head, and that's the way I'm going to execute it, and I'm going to take you now and see how it goes. So good luck, enjoy, try not to go too fast on them, try not to go too slow. You get gold stars for being bang on your fast mile pace. Just a little note, in the first half of your session, you're going to might find these a little bit too easy, and you'll be thinking, well, I know I can go faster. Doesn't matter, you get exactly the same training effect. You're training at your fast mile pace, and you're going to cover between 1.5 miles and 2.5 miles with breaks at that high intensity pace, and your body is going to recognize that, and it's going to get exactly the same training effect. So you don't need to worry that you can go faster. If you execute the session perfectly and you get to the very last repetition and you're thinking, I've got a bit of fire in my legs, then go for it. Smash it out. See if you can get it out, really, really fast. That's absolutely fine. But don't do it in the first ones, because you'll ruin the entire session. Hopefully you're nice and rested, because for the rest of the week you would have hopefully been doing nothing but super easy running. So enjoy the session. Let me know how it goes. Please do your warm-up and do your warm-up drills. I know so many of you are tempted to go out and just run
1 mile slowly and then go straight into your session. But it's the warm-up drills, it's the stretches, it's these things that are going to really help improve your performance, help you run faster, reduce the risk of injury, because if you've done all your dynamic stretches, you're going to be able to stride out better without pulling anything, damaging your tendons, ligaments, pulling a muscle, things like that. So a warm-up jog is brilliant, but that's only one part of the warm-up. Please don't forget to include the other bits. Hi guys, I'm halfway through my session at the moment. I've just finished repetition number 6 on Chargrove Lane. Just while a few things go through my head, I want to tell you, Garmin's and most GPS watches are lying bastards when it comes to repetition 1. So this is why finding an exact quarter-mile loop and a stopwatch is always the best option. Failing that, if you really do just want to go on a route and go off of your Garmin, you kind of just need to do your best on the first one, because it's going to tell you your first one is actually slower than what you're doing. It does seem to have a little bit of a lag, like a 10-second lag, even more on the first one. So what you can do is switch on your watch and just stop it every quarter of a mile, and then kind of just go for the average, trying to keep it as consistent as you can. So I was aiming today to get to 7:37 pacing, and if you look, well, that's pretty bloody close. But if you would have looked at my first 2, it was lying and saying I was doing 8, so I was pushing faster and faster, knowing damn well I wasn't doing 8, and that could have ruined my session had I had not got the experience to realise that no, my fitness hasn't suddenly gone. I do recognise my pace, just hold pace and let the watch sort itself out. So finding an exact loop, or recording during your warm-up a stretch of Bryson, a stretch of Chargrove, a nice flattish stretch, or a bit with up and a bit with down, just so it evens out, and then just continuing up and down, that is probably a really good way of doing it. Anyway, that's Sarah's hot tip. I'm going to get on with number 7 now. Okay, bye. Okay, so that's 10 reps done. I've just broken into a little bit of a walk just to recover from that last one. Managed to get the last 4 averaging out as, again, very close, just under my fastest mile pace. That's because the last one I just went all out and just took a bit of extra time off. I mean, that's the time to do it, in the last rep, if you've got any energy. And as I said, if you've burnt out in the earlier ones, then, you know, take a couple of reps off. There's no point pushing through and suffering. If you think you can run a full mile at this pace, so I'm only asking you to do a quarter of a mile and then have 2.5 minutes rest until you go again. So it's actually quite a fun session, I think, as long as you don't overkill it. If you overkill it, it can be horrible, like anything. It's good to do a little cool down jog or warm down jog at the end. This just helps aid lactic acid removal from the muscles, stop you aching so much the next day, just aiding recovery. Okay, so I'm showered, hair dry, ready for the rest of the day. Really enjoyed that session. Just a little side note, if just before you go to the session you say to your partner, I want the floors clean and I want you to do all these jobs, and leave him a little list and leave him looking at you really strangely before you head out. If you come back, you might be really lucky like me and find that all the floors have been hoovered and cleaned and all the bins have been emptied, and he's done loads of work in the garden and the kitchen is spotless. Bloody marvellous. I tell you what, if that can happen every single speed session, we are on to a winner. Okay, enjoy your day, guys, and enjoy session 3.